Anxiety is not weakness, it's a signal. Anxiety isn't a flaw or a failure. It's the body's natural way of alerting us to something, like a check engine light for the mind. Anxiety is not weakness. I need you to hear that, not just hear it, but feel it. Let it sink into your bones. We live in a world that tells us if we feel overwhelmed, if we feel uncertain, if our hearts race for no clear reason, there must be something wrong with us, that we're broken, that we need to hide it, push it down, silence it. But I'm here to tell you something different. Anxiety is not a flaw in your character. It's a signal. It's your body and your brain trying to talk to you, to get your attention. It's your system saying, hey, something matters here. Something feels unsafe or uncertain or unresolved. And isn't that kind of amazing? That your body is designed to keep you aware, alert, and ready. I want you to think of anxiety like a smoke alarm. You wouldn't call a smoke alarm broken just because it goes off. It's doing exactly what it was made to do. Detect danger, or even just the hint of it. And sometimes, yes, maybe it goes off when there's just burnt toast, but you don't rip it off the ceiling. You check in, you listen, you adjust. That's what we need to do with anxiety. Instead of shaming ourselves, we need to get curious. What is it trying to tell me? What am I not seeing clearly? What fear or belief or past experience is showing up in this moment? You see, when I was at my lowest, when I had lost both my legs, when I had every reason to be afraid of my future, of my body, of how the world would see me, I felt anxiety everywhere. It wasn't just fear, it was physical, racing heart, tight chest, sweaty palms, my mind looping through what, if after what, if... And for a while, I thought it meant I was weak, that maybe I wasn't cut out for the life I dreamed of. But then I realized it was just my system trying to protect me, trying to make sense of a world that had suddenly changed. It wasn't weakness, it was awareness, sensitivity, and when I stopped judging it and started listening to it, everything began to shift. I know it doesn't feel good. I know anxiety feels like a cage, but sometimes that cage is actually a door. A door that opens into healing, into learning, into a better understanding of yourself. Anxiety is a call, not a condemnation. A call to slow down, to pay attention, to tend to something inside that's asking for your love, your breath, your care. It's not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, and that's a powerful invitation. Let me know if you'd like me to now expand Key Point 2, F, Key Point 3, F, or create a visual guide, F, on anxiety's inner signals. Understand the science to understand yourself. Knowing how anxiety affects the brain, amygdala, cortisol, nervous system, helps reduce shame and builds self-compassion. If you want to take back your power from anxiety, you have to understand what's actually happening inside your body and brain. That's not just knowledge, it's freedom. Because when we don't know what's going on, we assume the worst. We think, why is my heart racing? Why can't I breathe? Why do I feel like the walls are closing in? And in those moments, it's so easy to believe that something's broken inside of us, but it's not broken. It's biology, it's chemistry, it's the incredible human system doing what it was designed to do, protect you. That's right, your anxiety is actually your survival brain kicking into gear. And once you understand how it works, you stop fighting yourself and start working with yourself. Here's the truth, the part of your brain called the amygdala is like your inner alarm system. When it senses something that might be a threat, real or imagined, it lights up. It sends out the signal, alert, alert, something might go wrong. That signal shoots through your body. Your brain tells your adrenal glands to release cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles tighten, your senses sharpen, and you know what? That's not a panic attack. That's your body preparing to protect you. That's what happens when a lion jumps out in the jungle. But today, the lions are in our minds. Deadlines, criticism, social pressure, old trauma, future fears. They all become lions in disguise. So if you feel anxious, you are not crazy, you are not weak, you are not overreacting, you are asterisk responding asterisk. You are wired this way because your ancestors needed it to survive, and that wiring is still in you. But just like a car alarm can go off when a cat walks by instead of a thief, your amygdala sometimes misreads the situation. That's where awareness comes in. That's where power begins. Once I learned the science of anxiety, it changed the way I spoke to myself. I stopped saying, "Why am I like this?" And I started saying, "Oh, this is my nervous system reacting. This is a moment of activation. I can ride this wave." I started breathing deeper, slowing my thoughts, grounding my feet, thanking my body for trying to protect me even when it got the signal wrong. I gave myself grace, and while that shifted everything, you can learn to do the same. You are not at the mercy of your anxiety. You are not lost in the storm. You can be the calm inside it, but that calm begins with understanding. And that understanding builds compassion. When you know your brain isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to help you, you can stop running. You can breathe. You can lead yourself forward with strength, with knowledge, with love. Let me know if you'd like to dive into key point 3F, or get a diagram of anxiety and the brain F to visualize this. Your story is still being written. Everyone faces anxiety, even those who appear confident. It doesn't define your story, it's just a chapter you can learn to navigate. Your story is still being written. You might feel like anxiety has stolen the pen, scribbled all over your confidence, ripped out chapters of peace, and left you with pages full of fear. But hear me when I say this: you are not finished. You are not defined by your anxious moments. You are not just a highlight reel of your panic, your overthinking, your sleepless nights. You are a living, breathing, unfolding story, and you still hold the power to shape where it goes from here. That is not just hope, that is truth. I know how it feels to believe that your anxiety is the loudest voice in the room. Like no matter how hard you try to show up, perform, smile, push through, it always whispers behind your back, "You're not safe. You can't handle this. Something's wrong." But here's what I've learned: those thoughts are not the author. You are, and that voice, that anxious voice, it's just one character in the story. It's not the narrator. You can hear it, acknowledge it, even honor it without letting it write the next page. I remember standing on stages with shaking legs and a tight chest, anxiety gripping my breath like a vice. And people would say, "Amy, you're so strong, so inspiring," and I would think, asterisk, if only you knew. Asterisk, if only you knew how hard I was fighting just to stand there. But that fight didn't make me weak. It made me real. It made me resilient. It made me human. And it reminded me that anxiety doesn't erase your worth or your gift. It just means you're alive and sensitive to a world that can be overwhelming. It means you care, and caring deeply is not a flaw. It's your power. Every hero's journey has fear in it. Every champion has doubted themselves. What makes the story beautiful isn't that they never faced anxiety, it's that they kept going with it. Through it, beyond it. So if you're feeling like anxiety is the end of your road, I'm here to tell you, it's just a plot twist. It's a turning point, and sometimes the best chapters are the ones that come after the storm, when you discover that you are more than your fear. When you rise up even with the shaking voice, even with the racing heart, even with the uncertainty pressing against your chest. That's power, that's ownership, that's authorship. So don't you dare close the book. Don't you dare say, "This is just who I am now." You are still evolving, still learning, still growing into someone stronger than you were yesterday. And the world doesn't need a perfect version of you. It needs the true version, the one who shows up even if your hands tremble. The one who says, "I may feel afraid, but I won't let that stop me from living this story fully, courageously, and honestly." Let me know if you'd like the next one on grounding in the present, F, or turning fear into fuel. F. The power of grounding in the present moment. Anxiety thrives in what-ifs and worst-case futures. Grounding techniques like breathing, naming sensations, or movement bring the mind back to now. Anxiety thrives in the what-ifs. It feeds off the future, off the unknown, off the spinning thoughts of everything that could go wrong. What if I fail? What if they judge me? What if I lose control? And before you know it, your body is reacting to a story that hasn't even happened yet. That's what anxiety does. It pulls you out of the present and drags you into a place that doesn't exist. But here's your power. The present moment is always more grounded than your fear. Always. The present is your anchor. And when you learn to return to it again and again, you begin to reclaim your peace, your breath, your life. I want you to understand that the mind is a time traveler. It races forward to tomorrow's possibilities and backward to yesterday's regrets. That's normal, that's human, but anxiety hijacks this system and starts sounding the alarm for a danger that isn't actually here. So how do you respond? How do you interrupt that cycle? You ground. You pull your attention, your energy, back into this moment, this breath, this room. You remind yourself, right now I am safe, and not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, and the nervous system starts to listen. The brain starts to calm. The fear starts to lose its grip. Do you know how powerful it is to say, I'm not going to spiral. I'm going to breathe? That's not small, that's not passive, that is strength in motion. It's easy to think we need some massive change to escape anxiety, but so often it starts with the smallest shift. Feel your feet, wiggle your fingers, count 5 things you can see. Touch something cold, name the sounds around you. That may sound simple, but it's a neurological reset. It's pulling your brain out of fight or flight and back into reality. And that's where your power lives, in now, not in what if . I've used grounding 1,000 times in my own journey. I've been in the middle of interviews, speeches, important meetings, feeling that wave of anxiety start to rise, and I've said to myself silently, you're here. You're okay. Feel the chair beneath you. Breathe into your belly, 1 second at a time. That's how we stay. That's how we show up, even when the fear is loud. That's how we lead ourselves back to calm. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to silence anxiety forever. But you can stop it from controlling your choices. And grounding is one of your greatest tools for that. It's not about pretending you're fine, it's about finding something solid underneath the storm. It's about reminding your brain, yes, I feel anxious, but I am not in danger. I am not my fear. When you can do that, even for a few seconds, that's transformation. That's inner leadership. That's you reclaiming your space, your strength, your breath. Your peace. Let me know if you want to move on to resilience through discomfort. Or get a grounding technique guide. You can't practice daily. Resilience is built in discomfort, like Amy's journey with adversity. Facing anxiety instead of avoiding it is what builds strength, not waiting for fear to disappear. Resilience isn't built in calm, it's built in the storm. It's built in the discomfort, in the moments when everything inside you is screaming, run, escape, shut down, and you choose instead to stay. To breathe, to feel, to face it. That choice, that's the core of growth. That's where your power is born. We're taught to avoid pain. We're taught to numb anxiety, to distract ourselves, to scroll, to self-soothe in silence. But here's the truth that nobody told us loudly enough. Every time you meet discomfort with courage, you build a new layer of resilience that wasn't there before. That's how you rise. That's how you become stronger, not in spite of anxiety, but because of how you've learned to face it. Anxiety will try to convince you that you're fragile, that you can't handle hard things, that if you feel that pounding chest or shaky breath, something terrible is happening. But it's lying. You are stronger than it wants you to believe. And the only way to prove it to yourself is to walk through the fear and come out the other side. And yes, that takes bravery. Yes, it takes faith. But the most powerful part, you don't have to wait to be fearless to act. You just have to move forward asterisk while asterisk the fear is there. I've stood in front of thousands with my heart pounding so hard I thought people could see it through my chest. I've climbed snowy mountains with prosthetic legs, thinking, what if I fall? What if I fail? What if I freeze? But I didn't stop. I didn't wait for certainty. I leaned into the uncertainty, and every time I did, I came out stronger, wiser, more in tune with what I was capable of. I didn't get there by avoiding discomfort. I got there by dancing with it, and you can too. You are not supposed to be comfortable all the time. That's not what growth feels like. Growth is stretching. Growth is shaking. Growth is learning to say, this is hard and I'm still going. Your discomfort is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you are expanding, that your nervous system is adapting, that you are meeting life with open eyes and open hands, even when it's uncertain. That is resilience. That is inner muscle being built. When you sit with your anxiety instead of pushing it away, when you breathe through the panic instead of running from it, you're telling your body, we can do hard things. And the more you do that, the more your brain starts to believe you. The more your confidence grows. The more you trust yourself, even in the middle of the chaos. That trust, that is everything. Because once you've earned your own trust, there's nothing anxiety can throw at you that you can't handle. You stop seeing it as an enemy, and you start seeing it as a training ground. A place where you forge grit, self-respect, and unshakable strength. Let me know if you'd like to continue with Key Point 6 on connection. F, or get a resilience exercise guide. F, to reinforce. This mindset, you are not alone, and that matters. Anxiety isolates, but speaking about it unites. Sharing, seeking support, and allowing others in is part of the healing path. You are not alone. I need you to hear that louder than the voice of anxiety in your head, because anxiety loves to isolate. It loves to convince you that you're the only one who feels this way, that everyone else has it together, that no one else overthinks a text for hours or lies in bed at 3 a.m., replaying that awkward moment from years ago. But the truth, we're all fighting silent battles. We're all carrying invisible weight. And the moment you start to speak up, to share, to say out loud, hey, I'm struggling right now, is the moment everything begins to shift, not just for you, but for someone else who is waiting to hear they weren't alone either. There is so much power in vulnerability. We live in a world that tells us to be strong, be perfect, don't show weakness, don't let them see you sweat. But real strength is being honest. Real strength is walking into a room and saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm showing up anyway. That kind of courage is contagious. It breaks walls, it builds bridges, it creates connection that heals, because when we stop pretending, we start belonging. And belonging is the antidote to anxiety's lies. I've had moments where I thought, if anyone knew how scared I was, they wouldn't believe in me. But do you know what actually happened when I opened up? People leaned in closer, they related, they felt seen. Because they were scared too. They just didn't know they were allowed to say it, and that's what your story can do. It can make someone else feel safe enough to share theirs. That's not just brave, that's powerful, that's transformative. Don't underestimate the power of reaching out. Send the text, make the call. Say the thing you've been keeping inside. It doesn't make you a burden. It makes you human, and when we lean on each other, we rise faster. Anxiety may feel like your fight, but healing happens in community, in friendships, in real conversations, in those moments where someone says, me too, and suddenly the weight doesn't feel so heavy. You don't have to go through this in silence. You were never meant to. There are people right now who care more than you know, who want to be there, who just need permission to step in, Give them that chance. Let them in. And let yourself be seen, not as someone who's broken, but as someone who's brave enough to say, "This is hard, and I'm doing it anyway." That is where strength is born. Not in the illusion of perfection, but in the honesty of the struggle. So don't isolate, don't hide. The world doesn't need your mask. It needs your truth, your heart, your courage to say, "I'm human, and I'm healing, and I don't have to do this alone anymore." Let me know if you'd like a powerful closing message. F to wrap this speech or a spoken word version. F to bring it to life.